Boldwood presents Christmas at the Cat Café, written by Jessica Redland and read by Lucy Brownhill. The moral right of the author has been asserted. This performance is owned by Boldwood. Chapter 1. "Tabby," Matt called, knocking on the open door to the empty flat. "In the front room," I called back, scrumpling up the protective plastic covering I'd ripped off the last of the cat beds I'd been unpacking. "That's a lot of beds," he said, joining me, and doing a double take at the rows of igloo cat beds and the pile of open ones in front of the bay window. "I've got a lot of cats," I said, smiling at him. "How's it going downstairs?" "All done and ready for your approval." "Oh, that was quick." Matt and his team had done an amazing job refurbishing the empty shop on Whitsborough Bay's Castle Street, turning it into my brand new business venture, Castle Street Cat Café. "The lads are loading the tools and rubbish into the van," he said as I followed him downstairs to the first floor. I gasped as I stepped through the door. "Looks a bit different with the chairs and tables," Matt said. My heart raced with excitement as I ran my fingers across the nearest table. "It's amazing. Honestly, Matt, I can't thank you enough for the fantastic job you've all done." "A cat cafe is a first for us, and we've loved the chance to get creative." I followed him down to the ground floor, another pulse of excitement running through me on seeing everything in place down there. With the building works now complete, I had 2.5 weeks to clean and get everything ready for opening day on the 15th of November. "It's perfect," I confirmed to Matt. "Thank you." "I'll head off then. Good luck with opening day, and give us a shout if you need anything else doing before then, or if you decide what to do with the flat." "I'll talk to Leon about the flat when he's back, but it'll probably be the new year before we make any decisions." The building was 4 stories, made up of 2 floors of retail space and a 3-bedroom flat. The original intention had been for my boyfriend Leon and I to move into the flat ourselves with the cats, but it was one of the many things that had changed over the past 6 months. Now I wasn't sure what we'd do with it. "No worries," Matt said, getting into the van. "You know where we are. See you soon." Waving them off, I locked the door and paused for a moment in the large entrance porch. It was decorated with the most adorable wallpaper, covered in colourful cartoon cats. Directly opposite the external door, and therefore easily seen from outside, was a large welcome sign. "Life is better with coffee, cake and cats." On the other wall, opposite the internal door, there was another metal plaque. "Please keep the door closed and don't let the cats out, no matter what they tell you." I wanted a visit to the Castle Street Cat Café to be a special and memorable experience, and I could achieve that through 3 things: adorable cats, delicious food, and amazing surroundings. I was confident about the first 2, and to accomplish the latter, I divided the cafe into 3 themed areas, 1 downstairs and 2 on the first floor, and I'd enlisted my extremely talented older brother, Rylan, an art tutor at Whitsborough Bay Sixth Form College, to paint murals on the walls. The ground floor, in honour of the street name, was Cat Castle. Across the largest wall was a mural of Whitsborough Bay Castle, with knights on horseback charging towards it carrying flags with cats on. The builders had constructed a castle-themed activity centre for the cats, including a drawbridge, a winding staircase and turrets. Walkways across the wall connected cat sleeping platforms. Also downstairs was an accessible toilet, the kitchen, a closed-off area which the cats couldn't access for hygiene reasons, and a retail sales area. I was starting small and simple with some cat-themed greeting cards, stationery, soft toys and mugs, but if sales went well, there was room to expand the range. I was excited about unpacking the merchandise and stocking the shelves. I stood for a while, a smile on my face, imagining how Cat Castle would look with customers and cats, and how it would sound with the clinking of crockery and the chatter of customers over chilled instrumental music. Great for keeping the cats calm. Removing my phone from the pocket of my favourite cat hoodie, I clicked onto the camera to take photos for Leon, but shook my head and put it away. I'd sent him several photos in the early stages of construction, but once the painting of the mural started, I decided not to give him any sneak peeks, preferring him to see it for the first time in person, and I was going to stick to that. 2 more sleeps and he'd finally be back. I couldn't wait. I returned to the first floor for a closer inspection. The front section carried a seaside theme, and although I'd anticipated Cat Castle being my favourite, Kitty Cove had stolen that crown. Matt's team had built a plinth in front of the bay window with a large wooden lighthouse to the left and a sailing boat to the right, both with platforms for the cats to lie on. The space in between looked like a beach with small striped deck chairs, plastic buckets to hold cat toys and teasers, and a few small old-fashioned suitcases with the tops held open so the cats could curl up inside. The mural on one wall depicted a busy beach, people playing in the sea, and Whitsborough Bay's R&LI lifeboat bouncing across the waves to a rescue. The opposite wall had a fairground theme with a Ferris wheel, helter-skelter, and dodgem cars. Sleeping platforms protruded from the different rides. Halfway along that wall was a cliff lift with more platforms, but instead of going up to a cliff top, the lift headed into the final themed area, feline forest. In a nod to nearby Kittrig Forest, somewhere I'd always loved to visit, the section at the back was full of trees. There were lots drawn on the mural. Some had been built with wood, and a few had been sculpted to add variety and depth. There were sleeping platforms in the trees, a tree house, colourful hammocks and rope bridges for the cats to prowl along. Owls and woodland animals painted on the murals completed the forest look. At the very back of the room, there were 2 more toilets, a couple of cat flaps to the litter trays, and a quiet room which the public couldn't access, but where the cats could go if they needed a little time out. I pulled out one of the chairs in feline forest and sat down, looking around me, marvelling at how my vision had come together. Leon had thought I was too ambitious, and there was no need to spend so much money on it, his attitude being that the customers would be coming to see the cats, and their experience would be the same whether the cats were curled up in a lighthouse or on a regular wooden ledge. I disagreed. I'd always believed that if you're going to do something, you might as well do it really well. Besides, it was my money, and he'd left me to project manage it all on my own, so they were my decisions to make. I could happily have stayed there for ages, lost in my daydreams, but I needed to head home to feed the cats. I took one last look around, a huge grin on my face. "I did it, Nana," I whispered. "You always said I'd achieve my dream of working with cats one day. Thank you." Returning to the flat for my bag and coat, I looked up and set off on foot towards home and back to the cats, all 16 of them. You know those memes you see on social media about crazy cat ladies? That's me. Okay, so being 34, I'm not the age profile they typically depict, and I'm not single either, but I freely admit to being completely obsessed with cats, and I don't get why anyone would label that crazy. Cats are the most adorable, loving animals, capable of bringing such and I've certainly been in need of plenty of that over the past 18 months. I've been an Ilorophile. Isn't that a beautiful word for cat lover? Since I was 7. On the way to our local playground, I'd skipped ahead of Mum, but suddenly stopped dead in the lane, my head cocked to one side. When she joined me, she asked what I was doing, and I told her I was listening to the cat singing to me. She couldn't hear anything, and was about to pull me away, when a tiny black and grey tabby kitten tumbled down the bank and onto the track. We found a cardboard box in the undergrowth with another 2 kittens inside and 2 more spilling out. Mum scooped them all back into the box.